to another episode of Billy the Bat Boys Corner. Today we have New York Yankees Clubhouse reporter Meredith Marakovits.
My pleasure.
What led you to a sports broadcasting career, and why did you focus on baseball?
Well, I actually grew up with two older brothers in my family, so I came from a very sports-oriented background, and I played a ton of sports growing up. And when I was in college, I played Division I volleyball, but I had a lot of injuries, so I figured when I couldn't play anymore, what better way to still stay in the action than be a broadcaster? So that's kind of when I really started getting into it, and I wound up kind of falling into baseball a little bit. One of the first places I worked for was TV2 in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and they got the rights to the AA Reading Phillies, so I covered that team. Then the Iron Pigs, the AAA team for the Phillies, they built a new stadium in Allentown, so they asked me if I wanted to be a part of that coverage, and of course I said yes, because baseball's awesome, and I kind of went from there. Jumped around with some NBA jobs, but in 2012 I found myself with the New York Yankees, and who can say no to that job?
Like you said, you played Division I volleyball in college. Does being an athlete help you interact with the players?
I think it does to some degree. You appreciate what they go through on a daily basis and how hard it really is. There are so few people that are able to play at that level, and I think a lot of people get lost in it, in all the money in it, and say it's their job. Yes, it is their job, but it's a very difficult thing to hit a ball when somebody's throwing 100 miles an hour. When you're playing volleyball, it's very difficult to receive a pass when somebody's serving extremely hard at you. So you kind of have that appreciation. Now, I never played anywhere close to this level, but I know what it was like to wake up for 6 a.m. running sessions and triple sessions, double sessions. It's not fun. It's not fun at all, but you do appreciate the work ethic. And I think on the other side, the guys realize and they recognize that at some point in time, you had the same work ethic or similar things in common with them, so they kind of like that too.
Is it more challenging being a female in the sports broadcasting field?
Depends what you're doing. Sometimes yes, sometimes no, sometimes it works to your advantage. Other times people don't want to listen to you because, I don't know, they don't like blondes. I don't know what it is. Do you? No, you know what? The New York Yankees are extremely professional. I've never had any problems, so I have to say I've been very pleased since I've been there. This is now going to be my 5th season. I've never had any issues. So I'm one of the fortunate ones, and especially way back when, there are some horror stories, but I think it's slowly getting a little bit better.
What advice would you give to a young girl who's interested in getting into sports broadcasting?
Work hard, be very cognizant of what type of reporter you want to be, and know, especially with you guys nowadays, social media, everybody's on it, we are too, but things can come back and haunt you. Be very specific about what you're putting out there, make sure you understand the potential consequences of any of that, and young girls or young guys, it's not an easy business to get into, but it's a very fun business. If everybody could do it, they probably would, but there's a lot of times you're working weekends, you're working nights, and not everyone wants to do that. So a lot of times they say only the strong survive. You got to want to do it, and you have to continue to pursue your passion. If you do that, you'll probably be just fine.
You can splash more times than anyone with Gatorade. Who pays your dry cleaning bill?
You know what? It's funny you mentioned that. I feel like Brett Gardner owes me a little bit of money. I feel like if I see my paycheck and I see his paycheck, and he does, I think he enjoys doing it too. Yeah, they're supposed to splash the player, but I think they had just as much fun making sure I'm drenched. Now, I do have to give a little shout out to Robbie Kukuza, who's the clubhouse guy for the New York Yankees. It's not that bad when I just have to go home to my home in New York. But when we're leaving for a road trip and I have to travel with the team on the plane and I'm soaking wet for 3 hours, it's not ideal. So every now and again I'll say, Robbie, can you help me out? And I'll be walking around the clubhouse in Yankee sweatpants and a huge Yankees t-shirt, I don't know whose it is, and he'll throw my dress in the dryer for me so I can get on the plane and not be soaking wet. But yeah, and one thing too, have you ever been splashed with Gatorade? No. Well, maybe one day, right? It's not really good for your hair. It's very sticky, very gross.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.